What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Roads We've Traveled podcast. My name is AJ Pelletier. Thank you again for tuning in, subscribing, all that great stuff. You know, I love you for it. Yeah, things are good. Can't complain. Got a lot of work on my plate right now between this podcast, Not Another Roundtable, and soon to be a new podcast that we're currently working on right now, which is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. More info to come soon, but I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, things are good. I can't complain. But, yeah, let's talk about today's guest. Today is my friend Marco Guerrera, a.k.a. White Cheddar. Marco and I go back in the music scene. He's actually a local rap artist. He's helped my band, my old band In the Red back in the day with the track, which was a lot of fun and great working with them. We talk about the days of DIU TV, which is, how we got to know each other better. Then from there on, and then, we learn a little bit more about him from his upbringing. He talks about going to therapy for the first time, which, good on him. I think everyone deserves to give therapy a chance. It's helped me a lot tremendously, and it can help you too. So good on him for going to see a therapist for the first time. And then we just talk about, his experience in music and everything from like being on Warped Tour to like, being in some groups and stuff to like what he's working on right now. But let's just get right into it. Here is Marco Guerrera, a.k.a. White Cheddar, on the Roads We Travel podcast. Check it out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Roads We've Traveled podcast. My name is AJ Pelletier. Thank you again for tuning in, subscribing, all that great stuff. I love you for it. I got a great guest today, first time on the show. My friend from back in the DIU TV days and fellow musician, Marco Guerrera, a.k.a. White Cheddar. What is going on, dude? Welcome.
What's happening, man? I appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely, man. We tried getting you on like early on when the show started, but timing and stuff happens. But I'm glad to finally have you on, man. Thanks for reaching out and being on the show, man. How you been?
Thank you. What's that?
How you been?
I woke up this morning with a bitch of a headache, but other than that, I've been all right, man. I've been all right. Just working on life and all that kind of stuff.
Surviving COVID and possibly World War III like the rest of us.
Oh, Maudon. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, how's work? How's family life? How's everybody in your life right now? Everybody good?
Everybody's real good. Yeah, I don't know. I had something and I just friggin' lost it. No, but yeah, everybody's doing real good. The work front is all right, all things considered. Things get a little slow when people are waiting on that freaking tax return, but
yeah,
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, there you go. What do you do for work again? You're like you work for a automotive place, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of a grease monkey.
How do you like it?
Some days I like it, some days I hate it. I mean, it's work.
I saw something you posted on Facebook. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago. You were driving, I guess, one of the dealer cars or something. Didn't you get hit by somebody?
Oh, it was that was a few months back. I got dude. Oh my god, I was pulling out of the damn bank, and somebody just right in my front passenger side just dude.
Oh.
And the guy tried to say that he had the green light, and luckily for me, I don't know, I didn't really check on him or anything, but I'm all right. I was even able to drive off. It was mostly cosmetic, but
yeah.
The area it happened, I was like, dude, there's no way, because I was coming out of a side road.
Yeah.
The bank's got one of those side roads. They're like a little dead end, and I was going left. So if he had the green light, then so would the traffic on the other side.
Right.
And I would have gotten hit by them first. So the guy friggin' lied, and
Ugh.
I don't think.
This happened in
I
good
mean,
old Dirty Waterbury, right?
yep.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what it is lately because like every time, like my mother still lives in Waterbury and so does some of my family. Every time I go to Waterbury, I you have to look both ways, even on a green light, because some idiot is just flying right through it, and just doesn't care, and it's just like the drivers in Waterbury have gotten so much more aggressive. I think I just hate going to Waterbury.
Dude, I live on a freaking bend. A curve. Normally, you'd slow down a little bit. No, people treat it. I don't know. They take it as like a challenge or something. Somebody crashed just the other night.
Ugh.
It
You
was
just
like 3 a.m, so I wasn't about to get up and see what happened, but I
you
think
sound like
somebody careened into a ditch, and yeah. Oh, sorry.
no, you sound like me last night because like I didn't sleep too much last night, and my landlord got like this new white fence around our property like last year because he got a dog and everything, and some drunk driver just plowed through our fence last night too, and totally destroyed it. And luckily they caught the guy. Apparently he lives like right down the street from us. So
Did
and
did you
and he's
put
got
pictures of this up?
yeah, I did today.
I
Yeah, yeah.
think I saw those. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I thought I heard a crash or something last night. Like same with you, like 3:30 in the morning, 4 whatever. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, I just don't care right now. Like I'm just tired. And then I'm leaving like this morning to like run a couple errands, and I'm like, holy shit! I was like, I'm sure my landlord knows about this by now, but I'm like, what the fuck happened to this fence? And then you look at the curb's all fucked up too, and I'm like, oh man. I'm glad he has a Ring camera out front because he caught everything. So,
Bunch of savages in this town.
I know. But anyway, yeah, if you're listening out there, slow down on the road, and if you are drinking and driving, maybe you shouldn't. Just saying. Anyway, but let's get to know you more, man. Like we know each other. I actually met you years before DIU TV. I think like one night at like Roller Magic back in the day, the old skating rink when you had your giant ass mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in your punk days. But we ended up hanging out more and stuff with Dom and Lurch and all them guys from DIU TV and stuff back in the day. But what was growing up like for you?
What was growing up like?
Yeah.
Man, listen, I grew up with 4 sisters and I was a middle child. So growing up was a trying experience. That's what I mean? That's a lot of boyfriends to threaten. That's a lot of shit to keep track of. But I mean, I don't know, all in all, it was all right. In certain doses, I kind of miss it.
Mm. Family
But
life okay? Like, nothing too traumatic going on at home or anything like that? Like you have a good house life, family life?
well, it was stressful, not because of like drama or anything. It was just too many friggin' people. Too many friggin' people between all these siblings I had, and them always having people over. And if I had somebody, there was so much going on, constantly knocking on the doors like, hey, you got to move your car because the driveway didn't fit them all. It was, yeah, it was. So me longing for my own space had nothing to do with any of that talk show shit. It was just there's too many of us here.
Did you have like a good relationship with all your family members, like your sisters, your parents, and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
good,
mean,
man.
we fight the normal amount. I think it's almost. I'd almost go as far as to say it's unhealthy if you don't. But nah, everybody's cool. Everybody stays in touch and still get together from time to time. I'm actually supposed to be going to see some of them later if this headache and nausea go away.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Yeah, and plus the weather kind of sucks today too because of all that freaking ice that we got last night. Like, and now it's just like super windy and cold out. I'm just glad that it's finally like spring is finally here and around the corner. And I think one of my friends, he was on last season. He described New England weather as gray, and I was like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Like, no, like every winter it's just nothing but gray.
Yeah, they got a saying out here: if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. I will say though that not the snow that we got last night, but the snow we got like earlier this week. It was actually really beautiful. Like after it was all done, like it was almost like the first. It's almost like how winter should have looked, like around like Christmas or whatever. Like everything was coated nicely, like it was kind of pretty. And then I was like, this must be like the last little storm before like spring and stuff hits. And then I was clearly wrong when it came to like today. But anyway,
Yeah, no, no, I definitely, I remember actually saying the same thing because I had to, I had to run down the store real quick, and normally I don't like being out there in the cold after dark because I just don't. But
it's called getting
I'm like
old.
walking down the street, I'm just like, dude, this is kind of nice. Not walking down the street, but walking to my car, and
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is actually kind of nice. But I think part of me was saying that because in my head I thought this is it for a while.
Yeah.
Like today, I don't know. I thought it was going to be mixed with rain and just turn into slush and wash away and all that shit. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had, like I said, when I was running errands today, I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is like a couple more degrees. It's going to be pure ice. So,
Yeah,
but anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, so like, did you have any like, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health here and stuff like that, but, and I know a lot of people struggled, especially through the pandemic with some anxiety and depression and stuff like that. I have depression. I have anxiety. I deal with it all the time. Do you have any symptoms like that? Like any mental illness like that?
Yes. Oh yeah. I don't know. A couple years ago, I felt like if you were to ask me that question, I probably would have been a little more shaky to answer. But I'm at the point where it's just like, yeah, it happens. I'm not gonna get in front of it if I try hiding behind defenses. So, um, I was, yeah, I actually just started seeing a therapist today.
How'd it go?
It was,
More like introductions, probably like her trying to feel you out and stuff. Or
yeah, like I got no complaints. It was, in fact, she actually called me earlier today and asked if I was still going to be able to make it with the weather and all that. And I looked outside. I was like, yeah, it doesn't look that bad. But as soon as I got on I felt like the highway was worse than the roads out here.
Yeah, yeah.
So once I got, listen, once I got out there, because this spot is in like a complex, there's a bunch of stuff all over the place. Like, dude, nobody even plowed it. It looked, there's like one car out front. I get there, there's nobody else there.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably all canceled for the day too.
There is nobody else. I was like, what the? But yeah, yeah, I don't want to keep bringing up the headache, but it was worse earlier, so
Yeah.
I was trying to get through that, and I don't know. We'll see. I got to build a little rapport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like even if it doesn't work, like I tell my listeners all the time, like it could just be your therapist. If it doesn't work, just try another one and see what happens. You know what I mean? Because I've been to therapy twice now, like with two different people in the last 4 or 5 years. And this time around was mainly because I was getting panic attacks, and now I'm taking medication. And it was more intensive, like therapy, like digging more into the roots of why I do what I do, and like what my emotions are at, like where my emotions are at, and how to keep them in check, this, that, and the other, and like training your brain to like switch gears and whenever you're feeling a certain way. So it was actually really beneficial to me, and like I have more good days now than I have bad days. So, and when I have those bad days, I know what to do. So, kind of thing. So, but what's going on with you with your mental illness? Like, do you have depression, anxiety, stuff like that? Like, what happens when you go to those places?
Yeah, yeah, depression and anxiety, which it's really a double-edged sword because it's like, all right, getting out of the house helps with the depression, but not so much with the anxiety, and vice versa. But I kind of I think growing up in a big household kind of conditioned me to react this way. I get in a sense, because it's like when I start feeling it coming on, I just kind of shut down and just start looking away and sounding kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
almost like I feel something building up, and it's like, no, let's calm that down.
Yeah. That's definitely
There,
like the anxiety and stuff. Yeah, but go
yeah,
ahead.
there was one time at a show. I forget what it's called now. It used to be the Red Door,
Oh,
where
yeah, it's under new management now, right? Like it's under a different name now, I think.
yeah, I think it might actually be called like the Blue Room or something like that. I don't really recall, but yeah, there's that one area where the bar is. It gets kind of crammed in there.
Yeah, right by the door.
And I don't know. I was having fun. I was enjoying myself, but somewhere in there, I was just like, for a second, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was like, dude, I need to get the fuck outside right now. And I probably wouldn't have gone back in, but they had my card at the bar.
Oh yeah.
This was back when I would still have a drink or two, and I don't. I don't know. I remember that was the first thought that I was like, dude, I think I'm having a panic attack or something. Because I feel like I've had them before, but it was never. It was never like that.
So what my therapist said was anxiety and panic attacks are caused by unchecked emotions that or trauma that you haven't dealt with, and they come up at like the most weirdest times. It's like your emotions are right there knocking, like, hey, I'm still here, knock knock knock, you know, you got to deal with this, and it just, you know, overwhelms you, and especially at times when you're not expecting it. Like for me, for my panic attacks, like just to relate to you a bit, they started coming on at work, and to the point where I had to get taken to the hospital because like you said, like I couldn't breathe, I was choking, I was like in pain, didn't know what the fuck was going on, and you know, my supervisor had to take me to the hospital because I just couldn't breathe. And then when they finally, you know, they did chest x-rays, this, that, and the other, and they didn't find anything, and they're like, do you have like depression? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you have anxiety? I'm like, I don't know, but I mean, I'm assuming. They're like, yeah, you definitely had a panic attack because there's like literally nothing wrong with you, like at all. Like they gave me like some pain meds to like help with it because I felt like I got hit by a truck like after everything settled down.
Damn.
And yeah, so they were like, you know, you might want to follow up with your doctor and you know, talk to a therapist to figure stuff out. And I was dealing with a lot at the time. Like I was still kind of grieving over the death of a friend. You know, family stuff was going on. I was like questioning where I was at in my life and work and like why I'm so miserable all the time. But I was just like shoving it down, I guess. You know what I mean? And just not dealing with it in a healthy way. And it's just like it started boiling over, and then I'm just hyperventilating and shit. Like, what is going on? You know, so no, I totally get it. And like, even in public spaces like that too, like I still get some anxiety, even more now after, you know, after the pandemic and stuff and COVID, you know, just being around people. Like I'm starting to get easier about it now, like going to the movies or something like that, or like going out for a drink. But like, I'm going to a concert next month in New Jersey, and I'm like already freaking out a little bit about that because I'm going with two of my friends, and I'm like, I don't know, you know, like being around that many people and stuff, like I don't know how I'm gonna be, kind of thing. So, but I don't know, like, do you get the same way, like, you know, around people and stuff still, or?
I mean, I've lost count of the amount of nights that I've ordered takeout because I didn't feel like going into a grocery store full of people, and just, I don't know, which is weird because when I do, it's not like it takes that long, but
Yeah.
there's that. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was invited out to a show in Brooklyn, the Knitting Factory, and one of those things where I said, yeah, why not? I got nothing else going on. In like 30 seconds after I ended the call, I was like, damn, I should have thought about that a little more because I really don't want to fucking do that. And
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it comes, you know, from, you know, one, we're, like I said, we're getting old, you know, like we're perfectly fine staying home and stuff like that too. But like other times it's like, yeah, it's like part of the depression stuff too, because it's like you said, I don't want to go to the store sometimes either because I don't want to be surrounded by people, because people, you know, if you're feeling a certain way, you know, they make you anxious, they make you nervous, they make you angry, you know, like I road rage, I think, more at the grocery store than I do on the road. You know what I mean? If someone slow is walking right in front of me, and it's just like, oh my God, get out of my way. You know, like I just want to grab what I need and get the fuck out of here. You know.
Dude, I'm not proud to admit there. It's like I'll go down a certain aisle, and if there's somebody in it, I'll just no. I'll come back to this one later.
Yeah. Especially if like, you know, they're out they're daydreaming while they're like down the aisle and they just stop in the middle. Like they can't pull over to the right or anything like that. It's like, oh my God. Like
Mm.
you know, I can't stand that shit. I will admit though, I've been using Instacart a lot more. One, because of, you know, like you said, I don't want to go out in the cold and like go to the grocery store and shit. But like two, it also helps because I'm just so busy on the weekends now. Like, but I also do like meal preps, plannings. Like I have a delivery service now where it's like I'm getting healthy cooked meals every week now from a service that's helping me keep in shape and stuff like that. It's taken away from meal prepping for me during the week, which is nice. And now the only time I go to the grocery store is for like essential shit. So, but anyway,
Yeah, whatever works, man.
yeah. But you know, like you were saying earlier, like getting out of the house and stuff too. Like I do understand to a point. Like, you know, some days you don't want to go and do stuff. And a friend of mine put it, it's like if you can get up and like at least take a shower or go for a walk, that's like a win. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're feeling like crap today or something like that, it's still good to get up and do stuff because it's going to keep your body and your mind clear. You know what I mean? Like, even making your bed is a win, you know?
Yeah, that one.
You know, like, instead of just laying there all day, like, oh, I don't want to do anything today. You know, that definitely helps with depression and stuff. So, was it like that for you for days, you know, with your depression and anxiety?
Yeah, I definitely get like that where it's almost like I find the smallest excuse not to freaking do something. Just, you know, I'll be writing something. I get writer's block 5 minutes into it, I'm like, all right, fuck this. Or I don't know. I don't like how my voice sounds. But like, oh well, I'm not gonna sound that good to do anything anyway today, and I just veg out, and it was there was a time where I felt like there was nothing wrong with it until I started doing it every single night.
Yeah.
Like, it was a few years ago when because there was a time where even if I didn't have a show booked, if I wasn't booked, I'll be at somebody else's. I was just always out, and I don't know if I burnt myself out or what, but one night I just couldn't do it. I don't know if I couldn't afford it or what was going on, but I remember one night I just ended up staying in, and at some point I'm in this big comfortable chair, just Netflix on, looking around like, dude, this could get fucking addicting.
And then 2020 happened.
Yeah, this was a little before that. Definitely. That's why when they started saying, you know, try to stay in, I was like, I've been training for this for years. Let's go. And yeah, that's the thing though, when it comes to getting out of the house, like if it were a day like yesterday, because yesterday was friggin' beautiful.
Yeah.
I could get out. I could just wander around and everything like that. Normally when whether I'm just out because or whether I actually have something to do, I'm sitting there thinking about everywhere I gotta go, everything I gotta do, how long it's gonna take, and realistically, how long until I'm back home. But you know, I don't know if it's just nice out like that, and it's not getting dark at 4:30 and all that. I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not in such a rush to really get anywhere.
Yeah, you got like a similar mindset like I do because like I'm always overthinking and planning ahead and stuff like that. You know, like I hate procrastinating. Like I have shout out, you know, I love my mother to death, but my mother is the biggest procrastinator and it drives me nuts. You know what I mean? And growing up and dealing with that kind of stuff, like, you know, and then I was engaged to someone who had major OCD back in the day, and like, you know, her stuff kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. So now it's like I'm always constantly like planning ahead to the point where it's like it's driving me nuts sometimes too. So I get where you're coming from. Like you're planning out your day, like, okay, I'm going here, 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 here. This is what I gotta get done. This is X, Y, and Z I gotta get done. And if I don't do it, I feel like dog shit. You know what I mean? If I stay home and do nothing, I feel like not only like physically like crap, but mentally like crap. Like I didn't do shit today. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a problem. You know, like today, for instance, I was supposed to hit the fucking elliptical today, but I felt like dog shit from not getting enough sleep, and I just don't feel great today, and here we are, but I gotta weigh the goods from the bads because I've already lost 12 pounds already. So I'm on the right track. I'm still going, yeah, okay, one day I missed cardio. Like, okay, there's still tomorrow. I could do that, So it's little ones like that you got to remember.
I mean, I feel like the cardio helps me. I like a month ago, 2 months, something like that. I joined a boxing gym.
Oh, there, nice,
and,
dude.
Dude, at my age, I'm not trying to be a fucking fighter.
No.
If that's what I was doing, that ship has sailed. But still, just teeing off on a bag for 45 minutes
that's good cardio, man.
Yeah, it really is. And I thought it might help with breath control and stuff like that. Because, well, the vocal lessons I take, the lady who does them actually uses boxing gloves in her regimen.
No shit.
So I was like, what? But I'm starting to see why. It's more of a psychological thing because you being a vocalist would know, how a lot of people when they're first starting out, they almost by instinct are going from the throat and you're not supposed to.
Exactly.
I don't know, something about just having those gloves. But yeah, the two seem to complement each other pretty well. And the thing is,
I thought about that. That's pretty cool.
The thing I've learned is that I can't just go to a gym. Like, I find like I move a little quicker when somebody's chasing me, So
what was that video online? There was like a trainer that would dress up as a serial killer that you could hire, and then he would just chase you around every day so you get your cardio.
I have not seen this.
I'll have to send it to you. It's actually really good. Like, he would just like pop up as like a clown or a serial killer, and just like start randomly chasing you down the street for like 20 minutes or something, and you're ducking and dodging and shit, and then he would come up there, all right, you did good work today, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Like,
dude,
I'll have to find it and send it to you. It's so good.
Yeah, I definitely need to see that.
But anyway, you were saying about like boxing and stuff like that. Like, that's got to be like a really good stress reliever too, especially when you're feeling a type of way, because like I get that endorphin like rush or like adrenaline rush after like a really good workout, and like I do understand what you mean about like going to the gym and just like feeling bored. You know what I mean? Like, you could be lifting weights or on an elliptical or a treadmill and just like staying in one place is just freaking boring. You know what I mean? But like, at least at a gym, you're getting that those endorphins. You're feeling good about what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're getting challenged and stuff, and that's got to be a great stress reliever too.
Yeah, there's that. It's just like I say, like this. The boxing coach. She knows her shit. So this, like the different combinations or other things that are kind of boxing related, but aren't actually just throwing strikes. It's a little more. You know what I mean? Like, if you just They got other things too, they got weights and everything there. You can go in there for different training sessions and all that stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. Like, if I'm just left to my own device, as soon as my arms or shoulders start to feel tired, or my legs or whatever, I'm like, all right, we're done here. But you got somebody saying, no, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, somebody who will push you, but they know your limits.
Right.
They're not trying to kill you. It just seems like that in the moment.
Yeah. I hear you, but you're taking vocal lessons too, man. That's really cool. When did that start?
Right around the same time. It's been a couple of months. It's an online course. It's not like it's a one-on-one thing, but
that's still cool though.
I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I feel like I sound all right, but like you said earlier, I grew up listening to a lot of punk, and let's face it, you don't really need to be a great vocalist to do that. They just, half the time, the guitars are out of tune, they're not in time, it's just basically just screaming angry stuff about the government. But,
but it's still nice though that like, have that, control of like your diaphragm and stuff, and holding out, like you can hit notes at certain points and stuff. Like, I've definitely fell out of practice, but when I was taking lessons for years, like I picked up a lot of new material that I would never like use. You know what I mean? Like, because like you said earlier, like I was constantly using my throat, and that is a big no when you're a vocalist is that you have to come from your diaphragm because it saves your throat from, you know, getting used up or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember exactly what. I mean, for a while, I guess it was like too much pride. You know what I mean? How many people out there are self-taught? And I was like, oh, I could do that, but
yeah,
I was actually right there. I was on this Temptations kick for a while, and
nice.
that started in what's it called? One of their lead singers, Eddie Kendricks. He's like one of the best falsettos I ever heard, and I don't know. It's just that he's got my favorite songs from them are from him. So when I'm just in the car trying to sing along, nobody cares what you sound like. I feel like that's the closest I could get. So I felt like with a little work, I could probably be a pretty decent falsetto.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of pushed me into that.
Well, you know what, man? Like, you know, I think you could do it, man. And like, I get it, like the self-conscious thing about how you sound because that's me every time I'm recording. Because like I just did something recently with a friend a few months ago. We did an Alice in Chains song, and I hated the raw tracks. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, this takes me back to the End the Red days and how much I just hated the way I sound. And I had to get over that, you know what I mean? And then I just remembered, I'm like, nah, you know, I did an okay job. And then when I heard the final product, I was like, damn, I fucking killed that. Like, you know, good on me. And I gave myself a pat on the back. I never could do that back in the day. But you know, so, you know, I'm not saying I'm a fucking great vocalist, you know what I mean? But like, for not doing it for a few years and then warming up correctly, tea and honey, exercising, you know, vocally and warming up correctly. I probably said that already, but I thought I did all right, you know. So, and I couldn't say that about myself a few years ago, and that comes with getting better with, you know, being okay with who you are, kind of thing, you know. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's that too. I mean, you know, this isn't American Idol or anything, but I had this thing where I thought I sounded all right until I get in front of the mic, and suddenly I forget what I'm doing. It just, I don't know. It's got to be a psychological thing, but
you're psyching yourself up too much or something, and you know, just brain fart.
oh, basically, I think it's just I think too much. Like we were saying before about overthinking and planning everything out in the head. So if I start writing something, I already have an idea in my mind of what I want it to sound like, and if it sounds even remotely different after the fact, like no. But you know, I had to learn that it usually doesn't sound the way you think it's going to.
Well, I gotta give you credit though, because like, you know, talking about some of the music that you've done over the years, and then like you even did a guest track on the Red song years ago, Hollow Soul. That was a lot of fun, man. And I just want to say, like, that song needed something, and I'm glad I suggested you because like you knocked it out of the park for that remix, and I was like, this was like the perfect thing that we needed to make this song sound a lot better. And just having you down there that day, just you came up with the lyrics right on the spot, knocked it out of the park. And like even Chris, my bass player at the time, he's like, this actually sounds really fucking good. So,
Definitely happy to be part of it.
yeah. But I mean, like, you know, talking like switching gears a little bit and stuff. Like, when did you make the transition from? I know you said you like a lot of punk back in the day, and like you're, you know, talking about the Temptations and stuff. You seem like you're very eclectic with music, but when did you make that transition from like punk style to like rap and like getting involved in more rap music?
So when I was about 18, I was I mean, back in those days, the big thing back then was like everybody was starting a hardcore band. There was a lot of hardcore kids started emerging out. And before that, I think like new metal was kind of the wave.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kids were rocking with like Slipknot and Mudvayne, and then they made their way over to, I mean, you know, being from out here, Hatebreed, obviously.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got no problem with it. It's just that I wasn't trying to make that kind of music, and there weren't too many people that were trying to start a punk band. So it was, you know, trying to keep a band together and everything was just a pain in the ass, especially since there wasn't there that much of an interest. And think about a lot of the punk bands I was listening to. If you take away the if you were to like isolate the vocals, it kind of sounded like they were just rapping in double time. And that's how it kind of felt to me when I was writing and just reciting and everything like that. And then I started hearing a couple of a couple of bands that started mixing. You know, they'd have an MC in their group or something that would, and that's what got me like, dude, there's a way. Like you can mix it up, because that was something I always wanted to do, is try to just mix in different styles. But you know, I mean, it's like you got to find the right amount of each one that you're trying to incorporate.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I just started writing raps one day, and you know, it started out with dumb shit, like a little the internal mic on my laptop, and like stealing beats off of SoundClick. And yeah, you know, I just slowly started like buying little bits and pieces of equipment here, and then, you know, other people who were doing it too. Eventually, we started crossing paths and like getting invited to actual studios and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I gotta like, again, like, you know, you're like one of the most talented people I've ever met, like, you know, vocally, and you know, with your style of rap and stuff. Like, every time you put something new out, like, I always listen to it. I'm like, God, man, this guy is so fucking good. Like, I can't do it. Like, even when, like, going back to Hollow Soul again, like, when there were shows that we played that song, I did your part for you afterward, because, you know, some shows you weren't there or whatever, you know, for whatever.
I think I
you know,
remember seeing a video from one of them.
I would be so out of fucking breath by the time we had finished that part, and I was just like, how does he do this? Like, I can't do, like, and I was already training with a vocal teacher and everything back then, and like I knew where my abilities were at, but like, just, I can never spit out lyrics that fast, and like, I gave you so much respect, because like I said, I'd be so out of breath by the time I was done, and then I would have to hop back into the chorus, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta black out before the song is even done. You know what I mean?
I've always been kind of a fast talker. I just, you know, that's something I've been trying to ease up on, because like if I'm having conversations with a sibling because they have the same issue, I'm like, relax. But you know, like when you're making music, sometimes some of these natural abilities or whatever you want to call them, it's just me being a fast talker. Not that I'm a naturally good fucking rapper, but it's just like, all right, this is just find a way to incorporate it. And that in and of itself was a challenge, because back to about coming from the diaphragm, is even though I wasn't singing, it's kind of the same idea.
Right.
Is that, and you know, you just gotta. It actually, I compared a lot to singing, because it's basically about just getting everything out as clearly as possible, but with as little movement as possible.
Mm.
You know, like holding the jaw right here and not.
Yeah. Relaxing your tongue too, you know what I mean? Like, that's another part of it too, is like, you know, like your R's, and like rolling your R's, or like, you know, certain ways you say M and O and shit like that. Like, my vocal teacher would talk to me about it. I'm like, I never would have thought of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a certain way to enunciate that's just different than speaking.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think it's just talking with rhythm. I had a teacher tell me that all you're doing is talking with rhythm, and like if you want to quibble over semantics, I guess so, but it's not quite that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's almost like reading like sheet music too, and like knowing your stuff about like sheet music. Like, I can't read sheet music anymore. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, like I've said many times before, like, if you're a vocalist, that's your instrument, and you need to learn, just like how you would playing a guitar and stuff, or playing piano. Like, that's your instrument. You need to know what you're doing, and you need to know how to take care of it. So
yeah, even if you got a hell of a voice, you still gotta, like you said, you gotta take care of it.
Mm-hmm. You can't be going out. You can't be drinking before a show. You can't be screaming at the top of your lungs, or you know, talking with people all day, because that actually strains your voice. You know, like, and then when it comes time to perform, you sound like dog shit. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah.
What were some of your most memorable shows? Like, I know you did a lot of stuff with like Full Blast. I don't know if you're still doing stuff with Full Blast, and some people that you've worked with and stuff. Like, what were some of your most like memorable shows?
Let's see. Well, you know, and then now I've been part of the collective Nightbreed with Donnie Menace and James Joyce the Squatch for, damn, like 10, 12 years now, something like that.
That's right. Yeah. I see a lot of Nightbreed on stuff that you do.
But memorable shows, I'd say Well, there was Gore Fest. That was out in Denver at the Roxy.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they do that every year around. Well, I don't know. They might have missed a year because of COVID, but yeah, they do it. They do this thing every year. This 3-day shindig. Where the one time I was able to make it out, we had what's it called? We had each of the guys from the group have a set on a different night. So you know what I mean? When you break it up like that, you got plenty of stage time, and I mean, it kind of felt like a tour, even though we were just in the same spot.
Right.
But that was I mean, when I say that was like one of the best weeks of my life, like the show was definitely live. It felt good. It was my first time back on stage in like 2 years, and yeah, self-destruction put me on the sideline for a little while, but it was more just the travel and the experience and being out there, and it was a lot more than just the show. Why I said like that.
Yeah, but then that feeling probably came back to you too when you hit the stage too. Like, man, I miss this. You know what I mean?
It was crazy because I'm not really one to toot my own horn, but I was nervous going up. Like, how am I going to be received? This is a different type of crowd than I normally rock in front of. But I try to tell myself, like, I've been in front of a lot of different crowds. You know what I mean? Like that when I joined you guys for that Buck Cherry show, and I've been to like poetry slams and stuff like that. So like I could do this.
Yeah.
But there's still like, I don't know. I feel like a little bit of nervousness is good.
Yeah, it's always.
There was like Rocky or something that said fear makes you work harder or something like that.
Yeah. And if you're not nervous, you're lying. You know what I mean? People are always nervous when they get up on stage. You know?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, but as soon as they gave me that mic, I was like, I can't even think about it now. And that's basically what I do. Is like, there's no time to think about it. You got to go out there and do it.
Right.
This is your set list. This is your set time. The promoters and DJs aren't going to want to hear it if you fuck up and want to start over. So it's just get out there and do what you got to do.
You did a Warped Tour too, right?
Yeah, I did a couple of years of that when I was still rocking with Full Blast.
Yeah, that must have been cool. Like you did like some tour dates. I saw you guys travel a little bit for Warped Tour. That must have been really cool.
I mean, it was for. You know what's funny is that's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm not saying fuck that or anything, but being a part of it, just me personally, it was fun, it was cool and all that, but it wasn't really what I pictured. I mean, no complaints at all, but I don't know. It was
using restaurant bathrooms. Yeah, like going to the bathroom at like McDonald's or something, or like showering, stuff like that. Like I hear a lot of stories about like tour life that everyone's like, oh, it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is, you know?
Well, the thing about it for us was, I guess the rest of the group decided that this would be the best way to save money or something by skipping out. Like, instead of getting hotels or whatever, we would just do the East Coast leg of the tour.
Right.
So pretty much anything that was within 2 or 3 hour driving distance. So we would drive 2 hours, 3 hours to Pennsylvania or to Jersey or wherever, and then come back. And come back to Connecticut that same friggin' night.
That must have been brutal.
It was. There was one day we went to Massachusetts and it rained.
Oh.
So for some reason, our set in particular, because we didn't have a stage, we were, small fish in a big pond. And basically what they did was our sets would be while the bigger stage was prepared, like getting set up.
Right.
Just before their sound check and all that.
Yeah, that's how a lot of festivals work, you know.
I mean, it was definitely fun, you know what I mean? You get into the Warped Tour for free and all that stuff, but it was, I don't know, I just remember it being exhausting. It was, I guess it was just the fact that, like, like when I was a kid, I used to go to the Warped Tour all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Like, when it started coming out here, then I used to go, but.
Right.
That was just like, a one-day thing. You just wander around and have your fun and everything. After a week or two of just I mean, ain't nothing personal, but sometimes people get sick of each other.
No, I
You know,
hear you. I hear
we
you.
we used to have in any group I've been in or any people I used to rock with. We always had this unspoken agreement whenever we'd spend lengthy time on the road, which was, once we get home, like, don't call me for a week.
Yep. Yep. I've already seen you enough for a week and a half. Like, yeah, no, I get it.
It's all love, but don't call me.
Yeah. Unless somebody's dying, don't call me. Yeah. No, I got you, man. I got you. I definitely want to talk about like some of your music too. Like you did that. I forget the name of it, but you did something for like Tom Brady because you're a diehard
Oh
Pats fan.
yeah.
Yeah, I laughed so hard watching that, and I was just like, this guy is so talented. Like he could do like anything and like make it gold. Like what is your writing process like when it comes to like writing stuff like that?
Well, that was well, for starters, one of the issues, not issues that I ran into with hip hop, but one of the things that I feel like I had to work a little harder at was being able to incorporate comedy and humor into my repertoire
Yeah.
without being just dismissed as like a novelty act. Like, or like, some people think Weird Al just makes joke music, but the guy's actually really good at what he does.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So there have been I mean, I can think of a few artists like Eminem and Redman and Method Man who are able to do that. They can incorporate humor into what they do and still be, still have their craft taken serious.
Right.
So I was trying to go that route, and basically that whole video came about because, it was me being a Patriots fan. They were at like the height of their success, how they were doing in those years.
Yeah.
And there was a sportscaster, Max Kellerman, who just would not give them their props. And after a while, it started, I don't know, he started sounding like a stan. And I got James and Donnie. I was like, all right, I need you guys to help me mix this song and put this video out. But the thing is, if what was it? They were in a playoff run that year. And if they didn't win, then I told them, like, none of this is coming out.
Right.
Like, so, and so honestly, I think they were real reluctant to do it, knowing that there's at least a 50% chance that none of this is going to see the light of day. But then they won. So I was like, all right, we're dropping this shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was how that went down.
That tickled me so fucking hard. Like I was just like laughing at, like you said, like the little Dido fucking stand like kind of comparison or whatever that you took to it and everything. I'm like, this is so fucking funny. Like, and I
mean,
I don't watch football anymore, but like I was a Pats fan for a long time, but now it's just like I'm just whatever now. Like I'm not a big sports fan anymore. I don't know. I just fell off sports, but that was so funny to me.
I mean, in that same regard, I don't really have anything against Max Kellerman. It just
right.
I just felt like it worked. I wasn't like trying to start a beef with the guy or anything.
Right.
Like I don't. You know what I mean? Like the odds of that getting his attention are slim to none. But whatever.
A lot of the videos that you do, like, do you record them yourself or do you edit them yourself?
Well, there's that one video I did, Awakened. I did that one myself. That was rough. That was because I used a GoPro and a mic stand because I didn't have an actual tripod and
right.
Freaking like one of those work lights, one of those Craftsman freaking work lights that you. That was my setup, and but I figured because of the Nosferatu style that I was doing, it would work, and it was a pain in the ass, but it did. Outside of that, James Joyce, the Squatch, he's kind of I don't want to label him as our resident camera guy because he's so much more than that, but he's got a pretty good setup with his cameras, and
right.
He takes on to anything he's trying to do. He learns and catches on so quickly. Like the shit that he was able to do in like say 6 months, it would take me 6 years to friggin' learn.
Self-taught and everything. Yeah, I was the
Yeah,
same way. Yeah, same way with like podcasting and like graphic design and stuff. Like a lot of stuff I had to teach myself to do. So a lot of YouTube videos definitely helped.
I did. I mean, the last one I put out, I'm not really content to call it a video per se, but I just took a bunch of clips and stock footage of. It was back in February. It was a tribute song to Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper, because I don't know, big fans of theirs, and I don't know, I always kind of wanted to do something. Every year I'm reminded that this is the day, and I watch the movies and all that stuff. So again, all hands on deck. Like, hey, can you get me a beat to do something to this too? And it's not really a video, not really a slideshow, but somewhere in between.
What stops you from doing it?
What do you mean?
From putting it out.
Oh, it's out.
Oh, I thought you said it wasn't out.
No, it's that. Oh no, maybe I worded that wrong. But no, it's just, well, that's one of those things that I kind of wanted to drop it on the day of that this happened, instead of just, it's like you're not gonna drop a Christmas song on the 4th of July. It's just
no.
So I figured timing would have been not so much from promotional, because I wasn't really doing this one for the numbers. It was more personal for me. Like, I just wanted to do this. And I don't know, like, I got really, really good responses from it, but it's one of those things where I almost cringe at when I listen to it now, because I was trying to put myself into character as them, and they were not rappers, so, and I don't naturally sound like any of them, so.
You know what, man? It's as long as, you know what I mean, like, talking like cringing and like I get it, but I mean, as long as like you're doing it for the art and you're having fun doing it in the moment, like, you should enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how much you think, like, sometimes like, I don't know, like, I sound like crap or whatever, like we were saying earlier, just still, like, just live in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing this for you, and you're doing it because you love doing it,
And yeah, that's basically it. And I mean, doing all right on Spotify.
There you go. Well, speaking of which, we're coming up to about an hour right now. Why don't we do before we get into plugs and stuff like that? Like, I've been for this season, I've been adding something to the end of the show every year, or for every episode every year. Oh my God, I'm out of it right now too. My grandfather used to say, on his birthdays or Christmas, we would ask him, like, is there anything we can get for you, or this, that, and the other? And the only thing he would say is, all I need is a kind word. So I'm asking my guests to, before we get into plugs, like, if you have a kind word or a phrase you want to leave our listeners with, what would it be and why?
A kind word to leave with the listeners. I don't know.
Something positive, like it could be anything, like something that means something to you.
All right, you know what? I got something. This don't sound like too much, but listen. Love yourself. Straight up.
And why does that mean so much to you? Like, loving yourself, like,
because I don't know. I'm still trying to get the wires straightened out up here, but I, like anybody else, I've done and said stupid things before, and I don't know. I have a freakishly good memory, so just about every stupid thing I've ever said or done is still just resonating up here. And at some point, it's like, how much longer? Like, I've had to ask myself how much longer I'm willing to punish myself over something that I might have said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever the fuck.
That doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, you gotta, like, people say forgive and forget, but whenever you hear that, it sounds like it's used in regards to other people for what they may have said or what they may have done. But, you know what I mean? Like, don't, there's one thing to hold yourself to a higher standard. It's another thing to just beat yourself up
Mm-hmm.
every time you fuck up, because you know what I mean. Like
You're just gonna keep punishing yourself if you keep doing that.
yeah, there's just you know what I mean. There's a lot of people out there who probably fucked up just as many times as I have, and maybe they just don't show it as much, or it don't hit them as hard as it does with me. But
Well, I mean,
yeah, I
we're all
mean,
human. Like nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like we're all gonna make mistakes, and if you think you're perfect, then you're lying to yourself because no one's perfect. It doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are or whatever. You know, like we're all on this rock together that's spinning around the sun, and we're all gonna die together the same way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, you know, I love that though, loving yourself because, like you said, like that took me a long time to accept and love who I am too. And I'm trying to better myself every day, and I think that's very important that we should all, again, love who you are and take care of you. You know, I think those are very, very good things to leave our listeners on. So let's talk about plugs. Where can people find your music, and do you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm on like on all streaming platforms. You might have to look up White Cheddar hip hop or something, otherwise you're just gonna get recipes and shit. But no, my Facebook is White Cheddar CT. My YouTube is just White Cheddar, and then Instagram and Twitter, if anybody still fucks with that, White Cheddar 203. White Cheddar Music on TikTok. I'm gonna start putting little bits and pieces of content up there, not just music.
Mm.
And
I'll post all the links down below so people can find you quicker and stuff like that.
And you know, you see me mention a few times Donnie Menace and James Joyce the Squatch. You're definitely going to be, you know, if you're looking me up, you're going to hear them. You're going to, you know, whether it's the beats that Donnie put on, or his own work, or James's own work, or his videos, or whatever. That's what we're all working. We're all expanding. You know what I mean? I remember we all used to just be rappers, and now we just, at some point, that just wasn't enough anymore.
Mm. Just do it for the love of it, right?
Well, I'm saying, like, you know, we went from, like, you know, just rapping and recording everything to, like, making our own beats and recording our own videos and doing all our own, you know, so, I mean, there are a lot of people out there we still rock with, we still work with, but nowadays, keeping everything in-house, it just, I don't know, we got that freaking chemistry, even with Donnie living all the way out in Vegas. There's just a certain energy we create that is insurmountable.
Well, there you go. That's all you need. You know, when you work with great people that you get along with and you're creative together and have great ideas, I think that's amazing. So, you know, more power to you, man. Like, I'm looking forward to more stuff, and everyone should definitely check out White Cheddar stuff because it's fucking gold. And if you're a big fan of rap and like a lot of, you know, I consider myself a little eclectic too. Like I like a little bit of everything, but like I also love supporting local music, and like you're definitely like up there, man. Like I love your stuff. So
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, anytime, man. I'm gonna do some plugs myself, and then we'll talk off air. Sound good?
Sounds good, yeah.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hi, how are you? Please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new video. If you're listening on audio, we're available on all major podcast networks, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we're probably on there. If you could leave a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, I'd appreciate it. It would help us stand out and see billions of other podcasts. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled Podcast, Twitter and Instagram at RWTPod. We also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Roads We've Traveled. If you want to directly support the show, I'd appreciate it. And we also got merch on TeePublic. All the links are down below. If you want to buy some shirts that I designed myself for either the Roads We've Traveled or my Twitch channel, all of them are up there on TeePublic. Speaking of Twitch, you can follow me at twitch.tv/JRBuckleGaming. I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. We play a lot of party games with friends and stuff like that. My portfolio at www.alanmpelletierjr.com. Hit me up for graphic work, video work, whatever you guys need. And just real quickly, we did launch a new podcast called Not Another Roundtable Podcast. First episode dropped already. We got a lot of positive feedback from when I had roundtable sessions on the show. I decided to just make it into a podcast, and we had a lot of fun. We did a test episode that wasn't good. We recorded another test episode that came out really good. So check it out on all major podcast networks. Check it out on YouTube as well. And that's just a straight audio podcast. It's not going to be a video podcast like this one, but we had a lot of fun, and we're going to do more. And Dave and I are also going to be doing more movie reviews because we have a lot of fun doing that, and it, lights all the nerd needs in my life. You know what I mean? Because I don't get to talk a lot about geek stuff anymore. So definitely check those out. I'd appreciate it. Cheddar, I know I just went on a whole spiel of plugs. I apologize, but that's it. I want to thank you again for being on the show. And, I definitely want to have you back, man, whether on the roads you've traveled or if you want to be on, a round table and bullshit with me and a few other people about this, that, and whatever. I would love to have you, man.
Dude, likewise, man. I always enjoy these conversations. Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Well, much love to you, and stay safe out there, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.